Joining us now, Chair of Migrant Watch, Alp Mehmet, and Steve Valdez-Simmons, Refugee and Migrant Rights Programme Director at Amnesty International. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Tell me, do you get a sense that the government has actually got a plan to stop the tide of little boats coming over? And also, once they're here, it seems that the centres that they're used for processing are being overwhelmed and visas are being stuck in the system. We've got 120, between 110 and 120,000 visas, which is waiting to be processed, meaning that many desperate refugees are being left sitting in hotels when they could be building new lives here, including 10,000 refugees that we invited from Afghanistan. Alf, what's your opinion?
We're in a mess, unquestionably. We're in a total mess. The system is overwhelmed. The resources available to deal with those coming are totally inadequate. And frankly, up until now, I think we haven't had a clue as to how to stop those coming across the channel from streaming across in ever greater numbers. I think Suella Braverman actually is finally someone who may well be able to get a grip and deal with this.
Why? I'd really like you to back it up with what proof? Sorry, back it up with what proof?
Well, that's my feeling.
But that's a feeling. That's not a fact or a proof.
Look, having observed Home Secretaries, having worked for many of them as an immigration officer, what I hear from her is absolutely spot on. And guess what? This is why...
What have you heard from her?
This is why...
What have you heard from her?
Hold on. This is why everyone is turning against her now, because Labour is frankly afraid that she's actually going to get it done. What she's saying...
I'd like to know how she's going to get it done, because so far I have not heard a cohesive plan from the government at all.
She's going to get it done, A, by talking to the French, which is an old thing. Secondly, she's going to hold on to those who arrive here.
She wasn't actually part of the group that wanted to talk to the French anyway.
She's someone who's going to resile from the ECHR. Fourthly, she's actually going to pursue the Rwanda arrangement. And finally, she's actually going to remove those who are coming here illegally.
Done and dusted. We didn't even get a flight off the ground, did we? We spent 160 million, and anyway, you can only take 200 people.
We're waiting for the courts.
I think we'll see. That will be done and dusted.
Sorry, Steve.
What's a real plan? What is a real plan? This government has not come up with a real plan, and all that it has allowed is an absolute mess in the Immigration Office, which is costing the taxpayer £6.5 million a day in hotels. So why don't they take some of that money and spend it on staff for the immigration system and get these people through the system, and either they're going to be asked to leave the country and we have to deport them because they're not being approved, or they can get out and make a life here. We have got so many jobs waiting to be filled.
Let's be clear on the fundamental reason why this has happened. We have Home Office policy introduced by the previous Home Secretary, Priti Patel, but pursued still by Suella Braverman, that has put a stop on actually processing claims. That's why only 4% of claims in the whole of 2021, even now, towards the end of this year...
Could you just clarify for me, what do you mean they stopped it? What did they bring in that stopped it? It sounds to me more like it's just sort of chaos.
No, they brought in rules to declare all of them, if they wished, inadmissible, on the basis that somehow they would persuade other countries to receive people rather than take our responsibilities with the claims that we get.
There are a couple of different problems, though, here, aren't there? There's the issue of the backlog, and then there's the issue of the incoming flow. You're from Amnesty International. What's your plan for stopping the illegal boats?
If you want to stop people coming by unauthorised means, the only way that you can do that is to provide authorised means for people who need to make those journeys. And we make no such routes available.
There are no routes for legal asylum seekers to the UK?
Absolutely.
None.
To claim asylum in this country, you must physically be here. Our immigration rules make absolutely plain there is no visa for anyone to come to this country to seek asylum. So if you wish to seek asylum...
What about the
here,
Afghan asylum seekers?
if you're seeking asylum, you have to get here. You may be fortunate
We
to
flew
come
them
within
in.
a resettlement
Hang on,
programme.
so there are ways, in
That
other
was,
words.
yes,
Hang on, there are ways.
Well, that was a resettlement
well, let's-
programme
let's-
that we
let's-
Yeah, but he said that there weren't any ways to
Not-
get through legally.
Not for anyone to seek asylum here. You have to be picked out, fortunately, under a resettlement programme, of which we have one for Afghanistan, and we do have a visa system for Ukrainians.
Ukraine.
That's it. If you are fleeing persecution anywhere else, or you are just hopelessly at risk from Afghanistan and you are not being picked and have no information about it at all,
So-
this is all that is for
Alp,
you.
why Alp, have we got the situation, among other things, of 10,000 young Albanian men fleeing the hellhole of France? Why has that happened?
Absolutely. The whole of France, you've put your finger on it. The fact is that all those who are coming across the Channel have come from a safe country and very often have been through safe countries, and very often, something like 40% of them have already applied and been rejected in other countries. But the fact is, you can't simply dismiss those who've come from Afghanistan, those who've come from Hong Kong, those who've come from Ukraine. And if what Steve says is right, we shouldn't really have any asylum grantees here who haven't crossed the Channel. And the fact is that there are thousands who have been granted asylum. If you were to set up a system, a process whereby people are applying overseas, it would be overwhelmed within days.
What do we do about the fact that this country now has an absolutely historic number of people crossing the Channel? This wasn't the case even a few years ago. A few years ago, I think it was 20 people came across the Channel. Why is this situation happening, and how on earth can it be allowed to go on?
They were
Let's be
coming
clear.
other means.
Let's be clear. We do not have an historic number of people who have crossed the Channel.
When was there a year when there was more?
In 2000, the early 2000s, more people crossed the Channel. They
Illegally
didn't cross
crossed-
by small boat. You didn't see them crossing, but they crossed.
These were people who jumped into lorry back.
Lorries.
And you're sure that was more than there are now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the
You're going to
means-
the
the
data
means have
much, much
changed.
more.
From the Balkans, there were in the early 2000s more coming over, but they were coming over legally. They were not crossing the Channel in small boats. They were not coming in the backs of lorries. They were making their way legally, and they were
that is
all
not right.
allowed to stay.
What strikes me about this is the fact that we've basically got a system where we do actually have a legal system where you can apply for asylum, but we've now also got a system where a first person across the Channel in a boat gets to come in and stay and will never be returned, whatever
and that's
the
the
new Home
reason
Secretary
why they will
says.
continue to come in ever greater numbers.
Yeah, and I have to say,
40,000 this year, 28,000 last year, 8,000 the year before. We're talking
Of
about
course,
And I have to-
people will never be
2018,
removed if you do not
299.
process
But I have to
their
say,
claims.
I wish I had your confidence that because the Home Secretary says
I
something,
do.
it happens.
I do if she's
But I
allowed
have
to
heard
stay
this from
there.
so many Home Secretaries
she's allowed
over
to
recent
stay
years that
there.
I have no faith at all. Anyway,